The story of humanity began not with cities or kings, but with something much smaller. Long ago, almost 3 billion years in the past, we existed only as drifting atoms in Earth's young and chaotic oceans. In this vast molecular soup, the building blocks of life slowly began to assemble. Life took root, grew more complex, and after billions of years, something extraordinary emerged. Roughly 6 million years ago, early human-like primates, our distant ancestors, began to walk upright. Among them was a line that would eventually lead to us, creatures who thought, reasoned, and adapted. About 1.9 million years ago, one of these species, Homo erectus, became the first to leave Africa. They were bold explorers, traveling into unfamiliar lands and changing the story of human migration forever. Around 400,000 years ago, Neanderthals began to thrive across Europe and Western Asia. They built tools, lived in harsh climates, and showed signs of complex thought and culture. Their features were strikingly human, and their legacy still lives within many of us today. Then came a new species, us, Homo sapiens, the only one of our kind to endure. We didn't just survive, we transformed the planet. But how did we rise to dominate the earth? In the lush plains of Mesopotamia, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, our journey truly began. Around 4000 BCE, people in the city of Ur learned to farm cereal grains like wheat and barley. This was a turning point. No longer dependent on hunting and gathering, they could create their own food. They used stone tools to grind grain into flour, a laborious process that fed an entire society. Agriculture was hard work, but it allowed communities to grow and prosper. Cities expanded, populations boomed, and something new emerged, complex societies. But the change affected our very bodies. The strong, lean hunters of the past became smaller, more fragile farmers. People were now tied to the land, and a new kind of human life began, rooted, organized, and cooperative. In time, kings rose and legends were born. One such figure was Gilgamesh, said to be a great ruler of ancient Sumer. But power rarely lasts. The Akkadians, led by Sargon the Great, eventually conquered the Sumerians. While this happened in Mesopotamia, far away in the Indus Valley, another civilization was growing. They built sophisticated cities with plumbing systems that kept their communities clean and healthy. Toilets, underground drains, and waste management. Pharaoh Djoser began it all with a step pyramid. Later, Pharaoh Sneferu experimented with designs like the bent and red pyramids. But it was Khufu who built the Great Pyramid of Giza, a feat that still inspires wonder today. These were not just tombs, they were monuments to divine kingship. In China, floods from the Yellow River devastated early settlements. Legend tells of Yu the Great, who controlled the floods by building channels and levees. His efforts led to the founding of the first Chinese dynasty. This marked the start of a belief that rulers should earn their power through merit. Back in Mesopotamia, a new ruler emerged, King Hammurabi of Babylon. He carved a set of laws into a towering stone pillar, creating one of the first written legal systems. Some laws were harsh, but they brought structure to society. Justice was not equal. Nobles, commoners, and slaves were all treated differently. In Anatolia, the Hittite Empire rose under the leadership of Labarnas. He united city-states and expanded his territory through diplomacy and warfare. The Hittites became neighbors and rivals of Egypt. Their destiny would clash with that of Pharaoh Rameses II. The Battle of Kadesh was one of the largest chariot battles in history. Rameses tried to surprise the Hittites but was outnumbered. Yet for reasons still debated, the Hittites did not finish the attack. The battle ended in a stalemate, but something remarkable followed. In 1258 BCE, Rameses and the new Hittite king signed the first known peace treaty in history. While the Hittites later fell to invading forces, their legacy endured. Across the ocean in what is now Mexico, the Olmec civilization was taking root. They left behind enormous stone heads, each carved with unique features. Though their writing is still undeciphered, their influence shaped future Mesoamerican cultures. This idea guided Chinese history for centuries, creating a cycle of rise and fall. They also developed a feudal system, where landowners ruled over peasants and paid tribute to the king. As society grew more complex, new philosophies emerged. Confucianism taught respect, order, and duty in all human relationships. Taoism urged people to live in harmony with nature and embrace the flow of life. These ideas gave meaning to daily struggles and shaped the Chinese worldview. In Greece, rocky soil made farming difficult, so the Greeks looked outward. They colonized lands across the Mediterranean, seeking fertile ground. City-states like Sparta and Athens rose to power, each with a unique identity. Sparta focused on military discipline, raising warriors from Athens took a different path, experimenting with democracy. Citizens, though only free Athenian males, could vote on laws and policies. Government roles were often chosen by random lottery, not wealth or birth. It was messy, loud, and imperfect, but revolutionary. To the west, Rome was founded by legend. Twins Romulus and Remus raised by a she-wolf. Romulus would become the first king, giving his name to a city that would shape the world. In Persia, a boy named Cyrus would rise to challenge an empire. He overthrew his grandfather, conquered Babylon, and founded a vast Persian realm. But Cyrus was different. He ruled with tolerance, respecting the cultures he absorbed. His vision of leadership inspired generations. And so the ancient world marched forward, one civilization after another. From temples and laws to trade and war, from rivers to deserts, from philosophy to myth. Each contributed a thread to the great tapestry of human history. And through them all, one truth echoes. We are the product of 1,000,000 lives, 1,000 stories,